Okay, guys, so once again, you're following along with me, filling in your note sheet with the fill in the blanks that I have filled in this video. So we're going to identify points. Coordinates are made up of two numbers. The first number is the x coordinate, and the second number is the y coordinate. So just like we talked about in the first video, our ordered pair, okay, it's called an ordered pair or a coordinate, is two numbers. The first number is the x, the second number is the y, and it has parentheses around it with a comma in between. So an example of this is -3, 4. That means our x value is -3 and our y value is 4. Okay. There is also a special coordinate, okay, point called the origin, and it is at 0, 0. We talked about that in the last video. And the origin is super important because that's basically where you're going to start whenever you're graphing any points or lines or anything. You're going to start from the origin. All right. It's kind of like our starting point. All right. 0, 0. So quadrants, we talked about this in the first video. So what are quadrants? They're the four parts of the graph, okay? The graph is separated by these axes. Remember the x-axis, the y-axis. It sort of cuts this grid up into four sections. And each section has its own label, okay? The most common and the one that you guys used basically up until 6th grade was just anything in the positive quadrant. So that's quadrant 1. That's all positives. So if you notice, all the x's on this right-hand side are positive. All the x's on the y, or sorry, all the values on the y, so all these ones up top are positive. So any point in quadrant 1 is going to have a positive x value and a positive y value. We'll get more into that in the next video, but remember that it's labeled counterclockwise. So if you think about this as like a clock, right? Here's your starting point, there's your clock, right? Clocks go in this direction. So it's labeled in the opposite direction, so counterclockwise. So it's going in the reverse way that a clock would go. And that's how it's labeled. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of like a C. I like to think of it as a C. Other people like to think of it as reverse counter, to a clock. If both coordinates are positive, then the point is in quadrant A or quadrant 1, like we just talked about. Okay. So if both the x coordinate and the y coordinate are positive, then you're in quadrant 1. Go ahead and fill out, make sure you have this sheet all filled in, and then you're going to move to the next video to fill out the next sheet.